Good morning. Today we are doing sketching linear functions. So what we're going to do for this question is I'm just going to use one of them. So from this worked example from our textbook, we'll just do y equals 4x minus 11. So for this function, I'm going to state the gradient and the y-intercept, and then I'm going to use those to sketch it on the graph paper I've got below. So my first thing is if I've got y equals 4x minus 11, then my gradient, or my m, is equal to 4, because I take it straight from there. And then my y-intercept, or I can call this c, is equal to negative 11. And that is from here. And I'm covering those m and c because our formula, or our standard format of writing a linear function, is equal to y equals mx plus c. So what I'm going to do now that I know my gradient and my y-intercept, I'm going to draw these onto the graph. So I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to draw my axis on, and then when I come back, it will be ready to go. Okay, welcome back. So forgive my axes for being a little bit squiggly. So what I have done is I've drawn a little set of axes on my graph paper, my x and my y. So because my y-intercept is negative 11, I know that my vertical line is going to have to be fairly long and fairly going into the negatives, and then my x-axis is going to be a bit shorter comparatively. So the first thing I can do is put in the little dot for my y-intercept, and this is my easiest step, so I'm going to do that first. And then I'm going to use what I know about my gradient, or my rise over run, to figure out where the second line would be, so I can start to draw in a line for here. So if my m is equal to rise over run is equal to 4, a whole number, any whole number, is the same as writing that whole number over 1. So I can write 4 over 1. So what that means is I can go in here, and let's say I'll use my red pen again. I'm going to run 1 space, and I'm going to go up my rise by 4 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'll draw my dot right over here. So now if I had a ruler while I was doing this, this would be a lot better, but I don't. So I'm going to try and draw in a line for our graph. And it probably won't be very pretty, and I understand if yours aren't very pretty either. But hopefully you're doing this in your books, so it'll look a bit better than mine. So my line is going to connect those 2 dots. That was terrible. I'm going to try again. Okay, not great. Okay, welcome back. So I've tried to touch up my line a bit. Still not very good, but it's passable. So what we've done is we've extended the line so it crosses both the y and the x-axis. And I've drawn in another red point up here to help me try and guide it through the x-axis, and then I checked whether I've done this correctly. So how I check this is I go and put y equals 0 into my formula. So when y equals 0, you will be crossing the x-axis. So when I do this, I find that I've got 11 over 4 equals x. I don't know, this isn't a perfect fraction, but I do know that 12 divided by 4 is going to be 3, so it's just going to be a little bit less than 3. So that's how I sketch my linear graphs, my linear functions. So you can use your gradient and your y-intercept and your x-intercept to graph these. So I hope that makes sense, and I'll see you guys next time.